Clash in Paris happens this weekend, so come together with me, my friends, and put your nerd caps on, because we are going to try and predict this pay-per-view. And we will start with a good old-fashioned Donnybrook, Sheamus versus Rusev. As always, there is 5 matches on this card, because why wouldn't there be? And I don't know. This feud kind of makes me a bit sad, not in a bad way. Again, who am I? Absolutely nobody. But I love Sheamus. There was a time when people were horrible about Sheamus, and I'd go on my videos and be like, oh man, we're going to appreciate him one day. And Rusev is one of my modern-day favorites. But ever since he's returned to WWE, there's just been no consistency, and I don't know what Sheamus is really doing. It's the feud, as opposed to them. It's come and it's gone, it's come and it's gone. And they just kind of had random matches here and there, and this one feels like it's only been put on because we can't do Naomi versus Stephanie Vicaire. Listen, it's essentially a street fight, right? They go absolutely crazy. It will be fun to watch. I think the benefit of this one is you will have the French crowd going absolutely crazy, and there was one, they definitely did, either the first or the second, where the crowd just wasn't into it. Again, it happens. I'm a wrestler myself. Sometimes you go out there and you're like, well, that didn't go to plan, and it makes you sad in your tum-tum. It all depends on what they're going to do next. I'm a bit worried if Rusev loses. We've not seen him for 6 weeks. He's not on television every single week on Raw, and you could argue it's the same for Sheamus. I mean, personally, I guess we could talk about this because it's not on the pay-per-view. We are getting AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio come Monday, and even though they're both baby faces, I'd move Dominic Mysterio and make him win the AAA Mega title, because I think that would make sense, because the whole Vikingo thing is a little bit crazy, all things considered. And if AJ Styles become the Intercontinental Champion, and then I do AJ Styles versus Sheamus, right? We all want Sheamus to win that belt. I'd love AJ Styles to have another championship before he decides to retire. But that's the issue. If you did do that, what does Rusev do? What does he move into? Do we move him across to SmackDown? Maybe to get involved in the US title stuff? But then again, that's Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa. Although Rusev did have something with Sami Zayn, so I guess that's an option. I just think, as crazy as it is, because again, I love these two, and beforehand I was so damn pumped, draw a line under it, but let's try and make sure we have some kind of idea where we want them to be in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it may be, especially going into Survivor Series. I will say that Sheamus wins, because yes, if the Intercontinental Championship idea is on the table, you probably want that. And as I just look over here, because I've got a magic computer which I should move, so it's not a shot, nobody wants that. Do I think many heels are winning? That's the issue. No, I don't. I think a lot of baby faces are winning. But again, it's supposed to make people happy. I'll still go with Sheamus. Now, I have said that I'm not particularly convinced, but I've said it now. Put it down on your bingo sheet, and obviously make sure you go in the comments below and let me know who you think is going to win all of these. And when you're down there, you can subscribe as well. Thank you very much. We're also getting Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I will bet my hair that Nikki Bella does not win and Becky Lynch will win. To the point, I'm just happy to leave it there, and let's talk about the controversy instead, because I didn't even think anything of it, which is probably on me. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. The Raw ups and downs we did this week, make sure you check it out on What Culture Wrestling, and please subscribe to all of us. I may have done on 3 hours sleep, which is probably not the best because your brain isn't operating on all cylinders. I didn't think it was necessary to mention Ozzy Osbourne in Birmingham so soon after he passed away. That is true. But because WWE has done this stuff all the time, I kind of just took it as, well, of course they did that. And I moved on to something else, and obviously Kelly Osbourne came out and said something, and you shouldn't be saying that Kelly Osbourne can't be upset about this. Her father passed away, right? She's allowed to be upset about whatever the flub she wants to be upset about, especially when it is so raw. I don't think the WWE needs to do any kind of apology. I think that Becky Lynch and Kelly Osbourne should talk and see how that goes, I suppose. But I think it's kind of bad, really, on my end, that, again, I didn't even blink, because, of course, WWE would say something like that. But at the same, I don't know, it's really, really difficult, because when you are in character and you're trying to get cheap heat, which is what that was, it's almost felt like nothing's off the table. But I suppose more often than not, it's an insular thing as aside from an external thing. So no, we probably should stay away from that, because you don't know what people are going to be feeling or thinking again, especially when it was not that long ago. So it was just a mistake, and it was an error, and I really hope they can sort that kind of stuff out, because you don't want anything like that. Wrestling, as I always say, well, one, it's the most important, the least important things, but also it's there to entertain you and there to distract you, which is why when it's bad, it doesn't really matter. It makes no difference to the grand scheme of things or your life. But you don't want someone to actually watch it and feel something, which is why, as I go on a complete tangent, there are some areas that we should totally stay away from when it comes to wrestling. Because if somebody tunes in and they're trying to, just forget about an awful problem they're going through, and then you have a narrative on screen that's telling you about that, you're never going to watch again. And I just don't think wrestling, it's not a high drama, right? You're not sat down to watch some expensive thing that we've shot on Netflix. It's meant to be silly and it's meant to be fun, which is why goofy wrestling is for life. I mean, I did this the other day. I don't know how much I can show, but I'll show you a little bit. That's right, I pretended to be Link and I stabbed a very big man with a sword. His name is Bullet, by the way. You should check him out as a UK wrestler. Becky Lynch will win. She'll probably cheat, because why the flub not? I don't think we should change the Intercontinental title at the moment, but I hope that we come up with something here as well, because Becky Bailey and Lyra Valkyria did such a good job. I don't want that to all of a sudden vanish. Have you seen what we've done with the US title on SmackDown? It keeps me up at night, which is not true. That would make me insane. Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed is also going down, a nice straight singles match. And Bron Breakker is not involved in this show, is he? No. So he will probably be coming out. Why isn't Bron Breakker in that four-way? It should be a five-way. It should be, oh, no, of course, because Seth Rollins is in it. He's not going to take on his mentor, although we're already teasing that he hates the guy. So, I mean, listen, I would like Bronson Reed to win, because I think Roman Reigns has hit a level where he could lose to a fish. He could lose to a giraffe. A snake could come out and go, and he can still lose and nobody would care. He's Roman Reigns. He's a GOAT, right? You can argue he's the dude of the modern era, whichever words you want to throw at him. And he's earned all of that. I kind of think he's even got higher than he would have done otherwise, given where he was 10 years ago. And people, it's 2025, right? 2015 at the Royal Rumble, 2016 at the Royal Rumble, people hated this dude. And now he's just the most beloved man ever. But I don't think he will, just because you don't see him in singles action very often. I mean, the last time, I can't even remember the last singles match that he had, because obviously WrestleMania was a triple threat. Have I forgotten something in between? Probably. I probably have, because I'm an absolute moron. The point is we don't get many of these. And I think that the thing is, as I cut myself off, if it was Bron Breakker, I think Bron Breakker could probably win. And I think that's probably what's coming next for Roman Reigns, which they'll save that. Whereas as much as I love Bronson Reed, as much upside Bronson Reed has, I don't think he is the guy that WWE is about to push to the moon. So I don't want to say he can be cannon fodder. It needs to be fought way better than that. And I think Bronson Reed should probably take like 85% of this match before Roman Reigns does his big comeback. But yes, I think Roman Reigns versus Bron Breakker was on the cards, the Survivor Series, maybe at WrestleMania 42. I think Bron Breakker should win that one. So this is essentially a set-up match for that. But I love the fact that Bronson Reed is in this position. We talked about this on the video the other day. Some people are like, oh man, it just feels like a television match. Don't you disrespect Bronson Reed like that. He told you he earned those tattoos and he'll find you and rip your skull off and do terrible things, which nobody needs. You may be able to come up with something if Bron Breakker is going to lose the vision, where he comes out and tries to do a distraction, put one on the distraction, interference, and confusion board, and that kind of gives Bronson Reed some sort of protection. I wouldn't mind that so much, because the Vision are meant to be a heel group that run in and cause shenanigans and cause nonsense and cause chaos like Dr. Robotnik, but it is Roman Reigns. You're probably going to get Superman punch. I do think he'll hit with a couple of spears, maybe give him the super spear to try and allow the commentators to give them something. What I really enjoy about this is not going to be the main event, right? I think Roman Reigns is at that kind of a position where, and obviously he's not the main event just because he's in it, but he will elevate anything he is in. So even though it's only a 5-match card, and you could argue it's a little bit wishy-washy, like there's nothing you have to be super excited about. I certainly don't think any titles are going to change hands. As I look at this, no, I don't. Only 2 are on the line. But just having Roman Reigns' presence makes it feel like a bigger deal, and that's important. And it definitely benefits Bronson Reed, as long as he's able to go toe-to-toe with a guy. And do not let Roman Reigns kick out of the tsunami. Absolutely do not do that. No foot on the rope. No nothing. We don't need to do that. We should just keep that forever, right? Not every finish needs to be kicked out of. Let's find one that can actually be used as a finisher. But even though I like to make bold predictions on these things, I just can't see Roman Reigns losing. I just can't. I think it would be silly, and it is nice to be right sometimes. So really, this is going to be in the execution and what we do, to use that word. Shout out to the guy that always drops one in the comments. That sounds terrible as well, but Roman is going to get the victory. Now, John Cena versus Logan Paul is a very interesting match. This could main event, should you so wish. I doubt it will, just because the World Championship is on the line. I worry that Logan Paul is going to win. And the only reason I say that is because it's the John Cena's first match back as a babyface. And I've now convinced myself that he will lose his final match, which means this should be his swan song of wins. He should win here, he should win at Survivor Series, he should win at whatever the flub else we've got on pay-per-view-wise. Because I guess my worry is he going to beat Logan Paul and Brock Lesnar? I'm not entirely sure that he is. I mean, is Brock going to come back to lose? I think he should. I think Logan Paul should lose. I think Brock Lesnar should lose. I think we should make this the John Cena show because, again, we kind of made it was still fun, but kind of the anti-John Cena show when he was a heel, just by the very nature of it. So now he's back to being a babyface and everyone loves him. Everyone's going crazy. No more sadness. We've had the sadness. We've had the hard times. Let's move on to the happiness, which, again, is what wrestling is all about. He should beat Logan Paul. If you want to reenact SummerSlam 2014, wherever the flub it was, and then have John Cena win this time, that's cool as well. But I need him going into Survivor Series unbeaten. I absolutely need him going into that last match of Saturday's main event in Boston unbeaten. I just think it would be silly to do anything else. Give the fans what they want. If he is going to win his last match, then sure, I can look back in hindsight and go, ugh. But at the moment, when I am predicting the future, I think that he'll lose. And therefore, I don't think Logan Paul should win. I don't think Brock Lesnar should win either. And the only reason I'm throwing that in is because when I say that I think Logan Paul should lose, people go, oh man, you just don't like Logan Paul. It's nothing to do with that. I always view it as a wrestling thing, right? What are the wrestlers doing on screen? And especially given the last SmackDown we saw, Logan Paul punched John Cena right in the face and ran off, which was funny. There's two different versions of that. There's the one I saw because I was watching it on Netflix, and there's the one that America saw because they re-edited it because Logan Paul missed the punch. It's wrestling. It's happening. I just don't see the benefit. The thing is, if Logan Paul beats John Cena, we have to do Logan Paul versus John Cena again. And John Cena's got, 9 dates left? I don't think you have to have 2 on Logan Paul, especially because now really 4 of them have been dedicated to Logan Paul because we had the tag team match against Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes as well. So draw a line under it. John Cena should win. Logan Paul is not a full-timer, even though some people like to pretend that he is, which I don't mind. He can come in on whatever schedule he wants. It's nothing to do with me. More power to him. Who wouldn't want that, right? He's living the dream. But John Cena now, let's just make us feel warm and fuzzy in our tum-tums, good in our tootsie toes. I just wouldn't enjoy it at all if that happened. John Cena, again, one of the GOATs. Logan Paul, sure, could go on to do all of those things that John Cena said. We'll have to see how it goes. But this is John Cena's moment, man. He has to win. I think he said he's never performed in Lyon, France, which is where it's going down from. So that's a first for him. After a 25-year career, finding a first for John Cena is a pretty big deal. Let's keep it simple, stupid. We're going to do the kiss, but John Cena wins. Please, for the love of everything. And very sadly, I think the main event of Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight is pretty obvious as well. Seth Rollins will win. Now, the interesting part to this is I imagine that we have to do the CM Punk Seth Rollins singles match eventually, given what happened at SummerSlam. But if we're doing this here, and I guess you could do one at WrestlePalooza, whatever the flub it's called, ECW shoutback. But Survivor Series obviously is probably going to involve a lot of these people in a war game, so that kind of takes the world title out of things. And someone's going to have to return there because people always return at Survivor Series. But yeah, what do they do before that? So could we get a CM Punk versus LA Knight feud? Could we get a Jey Uso versus CM Punk feud, which would be very interesting, especially if we keep them both babyface. But it just seems mad to me that Seth Rollins would pull off the second heist of the century, and then he just loses his belt here, and who wins? If CM Punk wins it back, it doesn't feel like we've earned it in the sense the babyface chasing. If Jey Uso won, that comes out of nowhere, and I'd be all down for LA Knight doing it, but if that is the plan, we should have totally changed the build. I don't think anybody's clamoring for it. I think there'd be some die-hard fans of either of those 3 guys to be like, oh man, yes, fantastic. And maybe even more so with LA Knight because, of course, Jey Uso's been a champ, CM Punk has been a champ. But it's just not the way you do it. It would feel a bit Jinder Mahal, which is way too extreme. But it'd be that like, oh, my gosh, I didn't see that coming. And I think if WWE had made that decision, yes, there's loads more bells and whistles and shouting that you should have done. I think it'll be an amazing match. Amazing is probably a bit strong, a really fun match. Because, again, in what world, especially sort of a few years ago, do you think you're going to get Punk, Rollins, Uso, and Knight? I probably missed somebody out there. I've done it in the wrong order because I'm a moron. And I do always appreciate that. But I think for me personally, if you watch my content, you know I'm not trying to run anything into the ground. Someone messaged me the other day, said, well, man, all you do is stomp over WWE, which is most unfair given, even I will admit I'm the most positive guy out there. But I'm always going to be honest with you. WWE, in the way that I like to consume my sports entertainment, is just in a little bit of a slump. It's not a problem. It doesn't matter. They don't write wrestling television for me, and nor should they. But because of that, and because I'm not necessarily connecting with the material in the way that I once was, it just means when you get to a pay-per-view, a PLE, a big match, it doesn't hit you in the same way. But they're great workers. They're great professional wrestlers. I hope that we give a lot to LA Knight, who I probably think will take the pin here, which is a shame because, again, he has been so over for ages. You can't call him a flash in the pan or all of this is going to go away. He has managed to maintain that popularity for years now, but there'll be some shenanigans because there has to be. I can see CM Punk probably hitting a GTS on LA Knight after some other nonsense, and then Seth Rollins runs in with the stomp. He gets rid of Punk, which of course can enhance their story and be like, haha, I got you again. And he pins LA Knight, who did take 2 finishes, and he could even take a Jey Uso splash before that. We do not know. So yeah, Seth Rollins is going to win. On paper, this kind of feels like a pay-per-view you could probably catch up with afterwards, like see what idiots like me think about it or other people that have the same sensibilities as you and watch afterwards. But I don't see any titles changing hands. My only worry is this. So John Cena, Logan Paul, babyface wins. Seth Rollins winning would be a heel. But then Sheamus winning is face. Roman Reigns is a face. And actually, no, Becky Lynch is a heel. So that's fine. I got it wrong. I thought I put the face in that one. So no, that's well balanced. So yeah, go back to the Sheamus one. I'm pretty confident about that. It sounds silly, but both WWE and AEW New Japan do look at that kind of stuff. Whether that be right or wrong, and really we should go with the story. Now, let's stop listening to me, but wait till the end of the video because audience retention. Drop me a comment below, like I say. Let me know your predictions, which are way more important than mine. Please do interact, like the video, share the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Have a fitness channel as well. There's a link down there. Otherwise, my watch-alongs are at patreon.com/Simon316. My Gorilla Mind stuff is gorillamind.com/Simon. You just go to Simon, get 10% off, often more. The best supplements on the market. I love them dearly, which is a weird thing to say, but I do. Simon316 on social media, and then TikTok is Simon Miller, and Cameo is Simon Miller, and ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller, and Simon@BigCartel.com. That is it, my friends. Thank you so much for being patient with me over the weekend. I just wasn't home, and my editor wasn't able to edit the videos that we had, which is cool. He had something to sort out. Life is way more important than those things. Now I have to fight the YouTube algorithm because it hates me again, which is, you want to be a YouTuber? Be prepared to work a lot. I'm only kidding. I love what I do. Enjoy Clash in Paris, or not. Because again, it's wrestling. You never know, and I'll see you soon.